My neighbor reported my illegal fence to the city to force me to take it down. The inspector ended up condemning his entire garage. I bought my first house about 2 years ago. It's a nice place on a corner lot with a big backyard. The only downside was the neighbor, Bill. Bill is a retired guy with way too much free time and a deep belief that he owns the entire neighborhood. From the day I moved in, Bill had an issue with my privacy fence. It was a standard 6-foot wooden fence that had been there when I bought the house. It was in good condition, but Bill hated it. He claimed it blocked the airflow to his prize-winning rose bushes and cast a shadow on his patio during the late afternoon. At first, he just made passive-aggressive comments. He'd say things like, "You know, the neighborhood used to be much more open before that monstrosity went up," or "I bet you'd get better breeze if you tore that down." I always politely brushed him off, saying I liked the privacy for my dog. When being polite didn't work, Bill escalated. He started throwing his garden clippings over the fence into my yard. When I confronted him, he said, "Well, the wind must have blown them. Maybe if there wasn't a wall there, the wind patterns would be better." Then came the official harassment. Bill started calling code enforcement on me for everything. If my grass was half an inch too long, ticket. If I left my trash can out an hour past pickup time, ticket. He was trying to annoy me into submission. The breaking point happened 2 months ago. I came home to find a notice of violation taped to my front door. Bill had reported my fence to the city, claiming it was built 2 inches over the property line and exceeded the height limit for a corner lot. He had dug up old city schematics and was convinced he finally had me. I had to schedule an appointment with a city inspector to come out and measure everything. Bill was absolutely delighted. On the day of the inspection, he was standing in his driveway with a clipboard, practically vibrating with excitement. He greeted the inspector, a no-nonsense guy named Rick, like they were old war buddies. Bill was pointing at my fence, saying, "See, look at the setback. It's clearly violating Ordinance 402. It needs to come down immediately." Rick the inspector was quiet. He took his measurements. He checked his GPS surveyor. He looked at the fence, then he looked at the property line stakes. Rick turned to me and said, "The fence is actually perfectly legal. It's 6 inches inside your property line, and because this side of the street is zoned R2, you're allowed up to 7 feet. You're fine." Bill's face turned bright red. He started sputtering, "Check again. You're measuring it wrong. That fence is illegal." Rick sighed and said, "Sir, the fence is fine, but while I'm here looking at the survey map, we need to talk about this structure." He pointed to Bill's detached 2-car garage workshop. Bill froze. "What about it?" Rick pulled up a digital map on his tablet. According to the city records, there were never any permits pulled for a detached structure on this lot. And looking at the sewer easement lines, this garage is sitting directly on top of the main municipal drainage pipe for the entire block. You cannot build a permanent structure on a utility. Easement. Bill went pale. He tried to backpedal, saying the garage was there when he bought the house. Rick shook his head. "Sir, the satellite imagery shows this was built 4 years ago. You've owned the house for 20 years. The tables turned instantly. Rick issued Bill a red tag stop use order right there on the spot. He explained that because the garage was unpermitted and blocked a utility easement, there was no way to bring it up to code. It had to be removed. Bill spent the next month fighting it. He hired lawyers, he went to city council meetings, he begged. But the city doesn't mess around with sewer easements. If that pipe burst, they would need to dig right where his garage stood. Last week, a demolition crew arrived. I sat on my back patio, drinking a cold beer behind my perfectly legal privacy fence, listening to the beautiful sound of an excavator tearing down Bill's beloved workshop. He has to pay for the demolition, the fines for unpermitted construction, and the cost to resod the easement area. All in, it's costing him about $35,000. And the best part, now that his garage is gone, my fence casts an even bigger shadow on his patio. It is truly poetic justice. Bill was so desperate to take down a few wooden planks that he ended up destroying his own building. He aimed for the king and missed, and the ricochet took out his entire castle. Note to self, if you live in a glass house or an illegal garage, don't throw stones. Catch you guys in the next one.